So hello, everybody. This is Friday, and I'm Stephen Carlson, and this is our regular support call. And we just had a request for a group release on technology. One of our participants here is upgraded to the latest version of Windows. Now, this is something we can all appreciate. Now the printer doesn't work, now the camera doesn't work, etc. So I invite everybody to just take a moment, pause, let things settle, and just be. Maybe even a deep breath or two. And just notice what comes up when you think about struggling with technology, the latest upgrade. I was about to reach for my phone, but it's charging over there. But yeah, the phone, whatever happens, whatever you want to make happen, all of the headaches, the incompatibilities, and feeling like an idiot because you can't get it to work. So just notice it all. Notice all the thoughts and memories. Notice the feelings that get stirred up. Notice how the body reacts to all of this. Because ultimately, the body itself is one of our most reliable ways of reading our emotions. We feel them in the body. And whatever is here, could you allow that? Is that welcome? Is that what's apparently happening? And then, when you're ready, let's just check. Does it feel personal? Are you the one struggling? Does technology have it out for you? And just allow whatever comes up. Notice how personal it seems to feel. Because it does. And then when you're ready, could you let that go? Is this a possibility? Would you let this go? And remember, any answer is okay. Sometimes the no's are the most important releases. And when? When would you let that go? So, another breath or two. And then, let's just go back again. Think about the last time that you had to struggle with technology. Maybe this morning, this evening, wherever you are. And think about how you felt about it. Just notice the memory, the stories, the thoughts, images, sounds, and notice how the body reacts. Notice any tension. Notice in particular the core of the body from the throat down to the groin. And just have a little look around. Get curious what's happening in the body. And this time, that's where we're going to focus. Just notice everything happening in the body around that topic. Technology, upgrades, tech support, incompatibility. Just notice what happens in the body when you think about your struggles with tech. And just as best you can you allow it open? Give it permission. Allow yourself to feel that way, since that seems to be the way that you feel anyway. But now let's just play a little game. What if all that you're feeling in the body, what if that didn't have any reason? What if it didn't have any story, name, justification? Could you just allow that to be pure energy? And would you? And when? And so, keeping the focus in the body, could you give that energy in the body, whatever's happening, whatever you've noticed, could you give it permission to be like that for as long as it needs to be? And notice what's happening. And this is the heart of the matter. Emotion expresses itself in the body as energy, energy in motion. And in the natural circumstances, it simply dissipates, it passes through. Have you ever seen a storm that lasted forever? That's how emotion works. You feel it, it's intense, but if you just allow it to be like that, give it permission, it doesn't last forever. So notice what's happening in the body and just give that permission as best you can. But then check, is it possible you might be resisting? Because really, who wants to feel that way, right? Even when you label the feelings in the body as negative, that's also a kind of resistance. It's a saying, no, I don't like this. So just notice any kind of resistance to what's being felt. And sometimes the resistance can be even stronger than the original feeling. So notice the original feeling. And then notice any resistance to what's being felt. Let's go back and forth a little bit. The original feelings, sensations in the body, and that no, the resistance, don't want. And then the feeling, and the no. And one last time, the original feeling, and the resistance. Just that little back and forth may have loosened things a little bit. But now let's play even more. Could you welcome all of that, the resistance and the feeling together? Could you? And just take deep breaths. That helps to move things. So could you welcome all that's being felt and any resistance at the same time? Hmm. And then, could you let that go? Would you? Are you willing? And when? So feels like a good place to stop. So at this point, I'd like to welcome anybody who wants to step up, raise their hand. I'm here to offer assistance, answer a question. But if you want to, you can just share a gain. That's also nice. Gains are a really important part of the Sedona method because it helps us to recognize the progress that we're making. Oh, Evelyn, hello. I see your hand.
Me again. I have a technical thing. Your voice is very, very low. I don't know if everybody else is experiencing it that way or if it's my system. I can't tell. So just so you know, I can still understand you, but it's very, very low. And I've got the speakers on max, so I don't know if somebody else would like to comment on that. Just everybody, is the mic is sound right or not?
Well, let's do it this way. If anyone else is having a problem, you can raise your hand or speak up.
Hi, Stephen. I experienced your voice is just calming.
Oh,
Um, so
and just to
yeah,
check,
it
this is a
was
good thing,
great.
right?
Yes, yes, that's a good thing.
I'm having a little bit of a laugh right now because Evelyn, we were talking before the call started, and she was in fact having technical problems, which is the reason that I decided to do this group release on technology. So that kind of completes the circle there, Evelyn. I think you can agree. And we can all have a little bit of a laugh. So,
Thanks for I'd like to kind of jump in with a game.
oh, please, please.
You know, this release, the topic was so timely for me. I'm traveling, and last night I was working on a document, and the this Wi-Fi speed is greatly reduced from what I'm accustomed to. And it turns out that I lost the document that I've been working on for hours. And I just lost it. I was so frustrated. And uh, doing the release this morning, I just noticed how that all that frustration, it was present in the moment when it was happening, and yet my tendency to ruminate isn't at all the case today.
Oh,
So just allowing it to dissipate and do what it does is a terrific game, but I didn't realize it until this morning in your release that it's no longer like haunting me or beckoning me or yeah,
right.
it was just something that happened in that moment, and I've just kind of gone on with life. You know, life happens.
Mm.
So I just want to say that I just appreciated the clearing this morning very much. So,
Oh, that's a
so
wonderful
thanks.
game.
Yes, it truly, yeah,
Thank you so
truly,
much for sharing that. Yeah.
yeah, sure.
And maybe it's also worth commenting. I see your hand, by the way. I feel get to that. But a lot of us, well, at least I can speak for myself, when I started releasing, I somehow had the idea that emotions would never affect me again. Once I am fully released, then it doesn't matter what you say or what happens, but everything is cool. And that's really not how it works. We still have emotional reactions, but they just happen naturally and they dissipate. So, yeah, you can be very frustrated with technology in the moment, but that just leaves, that just passes through. That's the natural way of all emotion. Um, the unnatural way, of course, is to stuff it down and to go back and relive it and make it
Exactly.
a part of your life.
Yes,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
right.
And that had been my that's been just my kind of habitual thinking around that, is to ruminate about it. Something that happened, I mean, it happened yesterday. Why am I still carrying that on into the next day? Come on, give myself a break. I mean, life happens. So
Right.
anyway, just a wonderful, wonderful game, as a
It is.
result of releasing on a regular basis. That's the jewel, is to
Mm,
just release ongoing. At least for me, that's what I'm finding. So
chef's
yeah,
kiss.
yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks again.
Wonderful.
Thanks again.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
That's really good. Well then, I do believe I see another hand up, don't I? Would you like to unmute and say hello, Effie?
Hi, thank you. Hi, everybody. So, first of all, I did want assistance on something, but it just occurred to me with what Maxine just said, that sometimes when I get frustrated about things, especially technology, I'm thinking, okay, if I die tomorrow, will I care about that? And then it just disappears. So, it's kind of like put things in perspective. In the
That's a
grander scheme
great
of things, it's
perspective.
not that important. I wanted to ask if, and it's possible for if I can have some assistance on this, that sometimes when some possibility arises of something, positive happening, something positive happening, and then all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh, great, this is a nice game. And then almost always something goes wrong and it disappears. So is this some kind of self-sabotage or what? It almost always happens when I get my hopes up about something. Yeah, I just wanted to ask your thought about that.
Let us dig in a little bit deeper. So, what are you saying? That something happens to you, you release on it, and
L-
you feel okay about it, and then?
No, it's like something like a good potential is on the horizon. For example, a good like work potential. Let's just say that. This was the most recent thing. A good work potential came about, and I was very excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, this is great, and I worked towards it and did my part to move it along. And then all of a sudden, it disappeared. Like the person involved said, "Oh, I'm not going to continue with this." And this happens like not regularly, but it happens almost always when some good potential is about to come my way, or what I think is a good potential.
Hmm. So something happens that sounds good, you're anticipating it, and then there's a
Yeah.
disappointment. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Hmm.
And it's most generally, no, it could be in any areas of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to make a guess here. To me, that sounds like a story.
Yes.
Oh, so just to be very clear about this, stories are very, very common in our experience. And this is the mind's way of trying to avoid disaster,
Right.
right? And so what's happened is that the mind just chose some past experiences, right? And now it's pointing to the future and saying, hey, look, this is going to happen. Be careful, right?
Okay.
I mean, does that sound true to you, what I just said?
Well, I'm not sure because when this latest thing came along, I said, oh, this looks good, but I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to jinx it. So that was my
Right.
first thought, you know?
Well, again, that reaction, though, isn't that the story?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so again, stories are constructed by the mind. They start with memories, experiences that have already happened. But this is so important to notice. didn't the mind choose the absolute worst examples? In other words, does it always happen that you're disappointed?
Not always.
Ah, but then the mind will say, always,
Okay.
right? What I'm trying to say is that, yeah, of course, sometimes we are disappointed. Sometimes there's an opportunity, but then it didn't happen. You meet somebody and, well, I don't have to make another story up. But when it becomes a story, then it becomes an expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so actually we can do a little releasing on this if you're ready. Would you like to do that?
Great. That would be great. Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
So just notice that expectation that something is going to happen, that you will be disappointed. And just notice how that feels in the body, any kinds of thoughts. And of course, notice the story and the memories. The mind will put together the story to say, this is what's going to happen. And so, when you're ready, could you let go of wanting that to happen?
Yes.
There you go. And would you?
Yes.
And when?
Now.
Okay. So, it may be a little absurd, the question, because in truth, you probably don't want that to happen, but there is a kind of an expectation that it will. So, think about this topic again, whatever is coming up that made you think about this. And notice the feelings that get stirred up, the thoughts, memories. And let me ask you, what's here now?
Mm, the kind of vague, not so graspable.
I see.
The
Vague
picture
and
is not quite clear,
mm-hmm. So whatever picture that is, could you let go of wanting it to be clearer?
Yes.
And would you?
Yes.
And when?
Now.
Okay. Maybe a breath or two. So let's just go back to the beginning again. Think about what you presented, what's coming up now, and just notice how you feel about it. And let me just ask you, what's here now?
It doesn't seem to be anything.
Oh, okay. Well, does that feel complete?
It actually does at the moment.
Wonderful.
Very
Lovely.
nice.
Very good. And by the way, allow me to wish you all the best. I hope that all your dreams do come true. Whatever it is that you're hoping will happen, I hope it does too.
Well, I hope whatever is good to happen should happen.
Good.
You remember the Rolling Stones? You can't always get what you want, but you can get what you need.
Well, yeah, but remember, that's just a song too.
That's a Santa story, of course. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for raising your hand. That's a very good question and
Thank
a very good topic for release. So
thank you.
let's see, I'm going to lower your hand for you there. And so I'm just going to invite, there's a few people I see that I don't recognize from previous calls. And if you're new here, um, I just want to tell you that you can sit and watch, that's okay too, but you're also invited to step up and ask a question, ask for support, or even just share a game. So let me just take a breath and allow whoever wants to step forward to step forward. I just have to observe. I see two Davids, the same David on the call twice, which leads me to suspect that there might be some tech support issue here. And just a reminder, if you came late, we were releasing on tech support issues at the beginning of the call. Oh, Evelyn,
Hi.
please step up.
Everybody's putting their hand up. Could we do a group release on, it just occurred to me that I was at a support call, and David Elsey, I think is his name, he said that referring to financial issues, he said we really we don't want money necessarily, we want freedom. So I don't know if we could do a release around that somehow.
That sounds like fun. Sure, let's try that. Yeah. So just notice what comes up about this topic of money and freedom. Is it the money that you want? Do you really care about zeros on your screen? Do you really care about stacks of paper? Or do you want the freedom that that symbolizes, that it seems to offer? So just notice whatever comes up around this topic of freedom. Notice what's happening in the body. Notice what's happening in the mind. Notice the stories, the memories, images and sounds. Have a good look around the body. Get curious. Notice any tensions, discomfort. And whatever's here, could you allow it? Just open to it, welcome that. Do you feel unfree? And then check. Is there any desire to change what you're feeling? Is there any resistance? Any wanting of control? Just notice that. And then check and see, does this feel personal? Is this your story? Is this affecting you? And then check and see. Can you find the one who feels that way? It's a tricky question. Notice, is there any sense of an individual who is affected? Have a look around. Can you find the one who feels this way? And whatever came up, could you allow that, rest in that? And then let's go back to the beginning. When you think about money, notice what comes up. Do you feel unfree? That can show up in different ways. One way is that you cannot make plans because you don't have enough money to do that. Another way is you can't have what you want because money holds you back. Or maybe you can't be the person that you'd like to be. You just don't have the money. So just notice how you feel about freedom and money. Sometimes it can be the other way around, though. If you have a lot of money, that comes with responsibilities. You have to spend a lot of time with accountants, bookkeepers, the tax authorities. People come and ask you for money, your relatives, your friends. So maybe, just maybe, there might also be a sense of being unfree with money. So whatever comes up, just notice that. And could you allow it? Could you welcome it? Whatever is here. And then check. Is there any sense of wanting to change that? If you don't like it, you want to change it. And is there any sense that this is personal? Is that you who's being affected? You who is less free? And then, when you're ready, check and see. Is any of this actually you? Are you those feelings, those thoughts? Are you those sensations in the body? Or is it possible? Are you that which is aware? Are you that which is aware of sensations, thoughts, feelings? And just for a moment, could you rest as that awareness? And could you allow all to be as it is, just for now? And so let's go back to the beginning and think about how you feel about money. Does it make you feel free? Does it make you feel less free? And so, just for fun, could you notice also gratitude? Just as an experiment, could you allow yourself to be thankful, grateful for whatever money you do have? you welcome that gratitude? Notice how that feels. Isn't that also more expansive? Now, it doesn't mean that you don't feel some kind of constriction around money and freedom. So see if that's also present. And allow that as best you can. And let's go back and forth. Could you allow gratitude? Just a simple thankfulness for what you have. That's also present. Just notice any feeling of gratitude. It comes naturally if you allow it. And then notice that feeling of clenching, restriction, the unfreedom. Then the gratitude, the openness, the expansion. And then whatever feelings around money, freedom, lack. And then gratitude. It comes up naturally. Open to gratitude as best you can. Yeah. And let's just leave it at that. I wonder if that was helpful, Evelyn.
Yes, it was. Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
Thank you. Thank
Lovely.
you very much.
Excellent topic. And by the way, David Elsey's a great guy. I quite enjoy his work as well. So
Yeah, well, I've been to 2 or 3 support calls, and I really, yeah, it's nice. It was interesting. Yeah,
great.
but we've got a lot of great coaches, so
We're lucky, aren't we? It's very true. It's a good group of coaches. Yeah. Well, so here we are. And again, I invite you to, well, of course, there's a hand raised. Please go ahead.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Stephen. That was wonderful. That was just delicious. Yeah, just that feeling of gratitude, of simply realizing in this moment that I have enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's true.
Hmm.
And then the other side of that is, oh, I could have a little bit more.
Of course.
So just really, pairing the two and,
Hmm.
for me, just collapsing all the confusion around that at the end is just wonderful. Yeah, thank you for that.
The gratitude is really just a flavor of love.
Yes, truly,
Yeah. And it
truly.
does a wonderful thing about it has a way of dissolving all that limitation.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm, delicious.
So, yeah.
I would like some assistance, and there's so much gratitude around what's coming up for me. I mean, I've just kind of stepped out in my, in life, and it's pretty miraculous. I mean, it, without, a lot of all this mental planning and, you know, eh, programming and scheduling and all that. And it just feels very kind of organic. And yet, um, there is this kind of conversation, internal conversation happening underneath it all
Mm.
that kind of points to this sense of inadequacy. Oh, you have to learn, you really have to learn Spanish, or you're not quite, ready to, propose your services. Yeah, so that sense of that second guessing
Mm-hmm. Sure.
self is present, and it's also distracting.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I'd like some assistance with that.
Well, okay, so just notice, is that here right now?
Yes,
It is. Okay. So
yes,
let's look at that more carefully. So that second guessing is the mind, isn't it?
truly.
And is the mind trying to help?
Mm, yes, uh-huh.
Right. This is such an important question. And the answer is yes. In all cases, the mind is trying to help, to protect, right?
And it's true. And I guess the question arises, protect me from what?
Oh, from everything, of course.
Well, it's again
Of
back to the
course.
stories, back to, I mean, protect me from something that has not happened yet.
Yes.
Protect me from this future that has not shown itself.
Well, so the mind will look out and say, I have to anticipate every possible disaster.
But is that true?
Well, the mind seems to think so.
And that's why I'm bringing it to inquiry. That's why I feel kind of compelled to uh, expose it, to just really see how unsubstantiated it is, how
Okay,
it's
so
not
but
really based in anything other than fear.
right, but notice what's happening here. Isn't this the mind trying to figure out the mind?
Well, it's the mind actually telling on itself
Right, right,
by
right,
way of me raising my.
right. So let's try and figure out all the ways the mind is. So it's just the mind trying to
Yeah.
figure out the mind. Well,
Ah,
there's a wonderful tool that we can use. Would you like?
sure.
So it starts with that understanding that the mind is trying to help, right?
Mm.
It really,
That's a very loving perspective. I wonderful. I love that.
so
Yeah.
what is the only appropriate response if the mind is trying so hard to help?
Yeah.
What about gratitude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So when you
Wonderful.
notice that the mind is spinning and all the questions are going around, well, isn't that just the mind trying to help?
Yes,
And
it
what about
is.
feeling gratitude
Mm.
for that magnificent instrument and all that energy, right?
Yes.
And that,
Wanting the best for me, wanting
exactly.
to show up as best as I can, prepared, what have you. Yeah, I get it.
Right, right.
Sure.
Well, so how does the mind react to gratitude?
There's this heart opening. There's this feeling of, there's this softness that happens. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. You might also notice the quieting as well.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
So what usually happens, the mind is going crazy and I want to make it stop, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Now, what do we have? We have a battle going on. Oh, the mind is doing this and I'm trying to make it stop.
Right.
And that can go on all night, as you, I'm sure, know. Everybody in
Right.
this call, everybody listening knows. That battle is just,
Yes.
but when you say thank you, when you recognize that the mind is trying to help and you welcome that with gratitude, then there's an opening and a relaxing. Because in that love, is there any danger?
No,
And so is the mind needed?
no.
No. So just for now, could that be the answer?
Yes, just welcoming, you know, this point of view and yeah, just thanking it. Yeah.
So much energy. The mind puts out so much energy and
So
it's
much.
trying to help.
Right.
And the best response for that is just gratitude, deep gratitude. Yeah. And that's also the solution.
Yeah. Lovely. Lovely.
Excellent question again. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. Thank you.
So I believe I did see a hand raised. Looking at you, Ronnie. You don't have to if you don't want to, but or anybody else who has a question or would like support or share a game.
Yeah, hi Steven.
Good to see you.
Yeah, sorry that I don't put on some of my video, but I'm walking.
No need for worry. You're good.
Okay, that's good. But also good to hear you
Good to hear you.
and all nice releases. It was already a little bit some going on, and I'm more and more relaxed. What I'm just feeling, and I'm thinking about the group release because we all have it. Is that I'm really trying to plan in the future, trying avoid things, and that makes me scary and wanting to avoid things. I don't say so much that my life is not going good, but by doing all those releases, the onion is getting peeled, and I'm really seeing this happening. So I was just thinking about having a group release on just being there with all that life gives to us, and that it can be even better than we are planning. If you understand what I mean.
I'm not sure yet, but so you were saying that there are things going on in your life that you are planning, yes? And
yeah, the thing is that some of us, yeah. So working more some of us online and being able to do that some of us with my work. And having the possibility to do that. And sometimes I don't know so much if that's a possibility with this work that I'm having. So I'm having some doubts in my head.
I think it's helpful to get specific about what you're addressing. So you're saying that you would like to work online, but you're not sure that this is going to work out with your present job or work. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing it now so much, but I like to do it so much more often. That's the thing.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, let's just work you and me for a little bit. Let's just see. Could you just notice how you feel about that? Is that coming up for you right now?
It does.
So just notice how that appears and look especially into the body if you could. Is there any kind of tension in the belly or the core of the body? Any kind of tightening of the shoulders or the head or any kind of discomfort, any kind of constriction?
Yeah, it goes more so much in my head. That's what I'm seeing.
Do you mean that you have sensations in the head or thoughts are happening?
some pressure and most of all thoughts.
Oh, okay. So just notice all the thoughts and just as best you can, could you allow that? Allow the mind to think all those thoughts.
Yes, I can.
Mm-hmm. And could you open that even further? Just invite even more. If the mind has more, let's have more. Would you be willing to do that just for now?
Yes, I will.
Mm-hmm. And let's just check, are those thoughts you? Or are you simply witnessing thoughts?
I'm the person that's witnessing those thoughts.
Right. You don't have any control. I mean, they just come as they come. So,
Mm-hmm.
so just for now, could you just allow yourself to witness the thoughts? Just allow them to be here.
Yes, I can.
And notice what happens.
Relaxation happening.
So thoughts are here. So what? Doesn't mean you can't have a walk. Doesn't mean you have to pay attention. No?
No, that's true. That's true.
No.
That's true.
Thoughts will come and thoughts will go, but they're not you.
No, that's totally true.
No.
The thing is getting up, so this is cleared. The other thing is coming up is that I'm also working with managers. And one
Oh,
semester is okay, some is with going online, and the other I think some wants me to be on the job, so in the office.
hmm.
So I also have a lot of thoughts about those things.
Of course, of
How
course.
to manage it.
How to manage your managers?
Yeah, how to speak with them. Some is about some is me going online and doing my job well, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, about some is managing my managers. Yeah, that's the thing.
Okay. So again, we're having thoughts about this, aren't we?
Yes, that's the same thing.
Exactly. I mean, you can have whole conversations with people who don't exist in your mind, right?
Yes,
I mean,
yes, yes.
they exist, but they're not here now, and you're not actually having a conversation. It's only happening here.
Yeah, it's happening so much in my mind how to do it and how to have
Right.
the best conversation so that the results will be like I'm having in my mind.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So just for now, notice what's happening. Allow those thoughts as best you can. And I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is the mind trying to help you?
Yes.
Right. The same question that we just asked Maxine. Could you allow gratitude? Just notice gratitude. There's a natural kind of thankfulness that comes up. The mind is trying to help.
Yes, I can do that.
Yeah. And so could you welcome even more of that gratitude? Just notice how much the mind is working.
Yeah, that's something that is not
Hmm.
difficult for me to notice.
Right. Exactly. But the mind is putting out so much energy. Can you match that energy with gratitude?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. And what happens?
Thankfulness
Yeah.
is there.
Yeah. Yeah. And could you be open to the possibility that you'll know what to say and know what to write when that time comes?
Somehow I still have some problems with that, but
Ah, well, okay, fine. So just allow that problem, that sense of not enough. And how does that show up for you?
Like being scared a little bit about having the conversation.
Okay. So there's fear. And how does that
Yes.
show up? Is that the body? Is it the head, mind?
It's more similar as the mind.
Right. Okay. So again, the mind is busy spinning.
Mm.
So again, could you just notice it for now? Just watch it.
Yes, again.
Mm-hmm. It helps to take a breath or two and just let it do what it does. Yeah. Is the mind trying to help with all those busy thoughts?
Yes, it does.
We could ask it a different way. Is fear trying to help?
Also.
Mm-hmm. So this might sound like a crazy question, but I'm still going to ask it.
Mm-hmm.
If that fear is trying to help, is it also possible that fear is an expression of love in a very strange sense?
Yes, it is also.
So could
I
you
always like it, but you're right.
could you allow it to be what it really is? Just love? Allow it to open up?
Yes, I can.
And even just a little bit more?
Yes, I can. Also opens up.
Yeah.
Relaxation in that also.
Yeah. Interesting, huh?
It is. Really nice customers that you are doing. So very simple, but
Yeah.
really nice.
Well, the best answers are simple, aren't they? Usually.
Yeah, that's really similar shit, and it sometimes seems so very difficult, but just those
Right.
answers make it really easy.
Right.
But
Right. Well,
nice.
even fear is trying to help, and that really shows you what it truly is. It really is a warped expression of love. Love wearing a carnival mask.
That's totally true. Thank you.
Once you take off the mask, it feels a lot better, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. Much more lighter.
Well, thank you for an excellent question.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a good weekend.
And yourself, absolutely. Have a very good weekend. Right.
Okay. Bye-bye. And thank you.
You, Ronnie. Good to see you. So it's so important to notice that, yeah, these emotions that we feel that are so difficult are actually trying to help. And once that realization sits in, it shifts. So we've reached the hour, but I'm not done if you're not done. I'll just give you a chance to step up if anybody has a last question or a request for help or even to share a game. And if not, then thank you all for coming. I want you to know that the work that we're doing here is just benefiting everybody. So that's it. That's the end of the call.
Thank you. Thank you, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen.
Nice weekend ahead. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Take
Yeah.
care.